Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer II: The Silence of the Fury, where I've spent a moment here investigating our options for new Herdstone placements, and I think Hag Hall is the best we're gonna do. So it'll give us 8 devastation as a Herdstone, and then look, there's a 6 and a 10 and a 4, and down here another 8 around it. That feels pretty strong. If we vary northward. You know, there's some smaller stuff up here, but this requires us to go to war with a faction who, frankly, is doing a lot of work on our behalf right now. We will have to kill them eventually, of course, but I think like that, or maybe Ice Rock Gorge. It is weird that Ice Rock Gorge can't reach Val's Anvil, but like, yeah, I think Hag Hall should be our next target, our next Herdstone target. Now, obviously, it would be best for us to set up the Herdstone here without taking Val's Anvil so that we could do it afterward and get the devastation in. I don't know how feasible that's going to be. We're going to head in that direction and we'll see. And then we will set to the task of the Witchwood and whatnot. I do believe that the Heralds of Ariel are, they're at a momentary, yeah, they are at a local minimum of military power because Malekith's army did kill the Sisters' army after it ran off to the east. So maybe just pressing on the Witchwood really hard right now would be the best plan. It does have a 17-unit garrison. That's not going to be a trivial fight no matter how we do it. All right. Is this the end of the turn, or yeah, our units have no movement left. Okay. Yeah, I do believe we're going to push for Hag Hall, try to get up a new stone, and get the cycle running again. We had what I would describe as a pretty non-productive second episode there, as we were just sort of recovering from things. So in case I haven't talked about that little balance of power bar, it shows your power relative to the displayed faction. The more yellow the bar is, the more the amount of yellow in the bar represents the amount by which you are overpowering them, basically. So if the bar is exactly half and half, you have the same military strength they do. And the Savage Blow has occurred. Plus 20 charge bonus for every combat unit everywhere in the world. Many conflicts are won or lost on the strength of the first vicious charge. Men are sent flying from the battlefield, often in pieces, even before the savagery of melee begins. A well-timed charge shatters enemy morale as well as bodies. Blood and sweat may coat the victors gross, but victory is always painted in colors such as these. Who even wants this, I ask you? For whom does this seem like a good idea? Alright, I think let's just continue forward. Do we wanna go in rampage mode with you? No, I guess we can do the underway. So we are leaving both of our armies totally visible, which is, you know, not ideal in some ways, but also we're trying to get somewhere quickly here. Creeping along so that we can keep one army stealthy, I do not think is a good use of our time. Because we want to get established before the Sisters are able to put an army back together. Oh, hey, look, it's the Butterfly Lady. And I know our Minotaur has been terrible at map actions, but I do want to keep him on map actions until we get at the very least that challenge unlocked, because any other agent we hire is going to be worse, right? That's what the math would tell us. Let's have Morgur walk out here because he does not really have a lot. I was going to say he has a better sort of vision range. Since he's closer to the end of the pass, he'll be able to walk out further. But that's not even really true. He is barely able to move at all. Alright, now keep in mind, we're doing just fine on Bestial Fury, even though we have no, battle going on, because of the fact that we have that event from the moon. That'll last a little bit longer. Alright, so we'll just raid Elftown this turn. I am going to just try to run past and hit Hag Hall. It does have walls. If there's a real army inside of that, obviously that'll make things tricky. We don't know too much about this faction. We do know that they just went to war with somebody else last turn, so I'm hoping that they're just very distracted, that they're very busy. So you can see the bar's filling up with red. They are recruiting a new army. We just have to bait them into a trap, is all. All right, somewhere very, very far away, goblin stuff is happening. We're just not even going to worry about it. Oh, hey, look who's back. Oh, and he respawned right on the army. That was nice of him. Somebody took the Sword of Cain from whoever took it originally. Okay, bonus campaign movement range on Torox. This is a very, very good trait. And we are going to trivially max it out, I think, which is lovely. Alright, run ahead. Show me what's what. Okay, so there is an army in Hag Hall, but it is small and weak. Hooray! He did a thing, and it even worked. Can you imagine? Let's make you a little bit better. So, assault garrison and assault units, when you put points into them, don't get any more likely to work. They just get an increased effect. Which is part of why I was not as eager to level those up quickly. So we can hit Hag Hall for sure. What is this faction? Oh, they probably don't have any army at all right now. Well, so Val's Anvil has a tiny little 9-unit garrison. I think what we could do, of course, is run both of the armies down here and hit Hag Hall super hard. But I think it would be better for us to just use Torox, set up the Herdstone, and then hit Val's Anvil with Morgur this turn. So that we don't have to worry about, like, Malekith potentially coming out of the north and stealing it from us or something. And I have to imagine Torox is going to be able to handle this. Can he do it in non-raid mode? It looks like just barely no. Yeah, all right. Obviously, it's not ideal to do it in raid mode. They do have an ally who will end up at war with us. Tiranoc is an elven nation over on the island, over on Ulthuan. I'm not very concerned about them being at war with me. Okay, they did choose to join in the war. Can't say I think it was a great plan on their part. Okay, casualties low, no units lost. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and blow this up, and let's set up a Herdstone. It is kind of a shame to set up a Herdstone, given that that's 8,000 favor right there, but
you won't get a moment's peace.
You can't have everything. Alright, I think it was a good start. So plus leadership for the army when laying siege, that's cool. What do we want to build at this spot? So we went with the casualty replenishment rate last time. Honestly, I'm not sure that was necessary. It turns out we have really good casualty replenishment. Would we prefer... Yeah, maybe like weakening. So all Bloodground regions. The Witchwood... Well, okay, the Witchwood's in the Bloodground, but it doesn't have any walls or anything. It's the defensive strength of this is entirely in the big elf garrison that's watching over it. So we don't necessarily need to worry about anti-siege stuff. Movement range down. Just make every enemy in the area less effective. So it's that versus this for the purpose of keeping momentum up. And I do like the momentum up. But let's try this. I am kind of curious what the plague actually looks like. So Torox is leveled up, as has the Bray Shaman. And now that we have Apocalyptic Vision, I think it's probably time to jump out of the red line. I don't think we have any other units that are... Well, okay. Regiments of Renown are always gold rank, so we could take that skill. The Gorgon is also rank 6, and I don't... It's rank 6 and most of the way to 7 here, so it may be worth just grabbing the red skill for that as well. Oh, except we're high enough level to hit our special upgrade tree. We should probably do that. So 25% magic resistance to the entire army, plus a self buff that gives 40% damage, just all damage resistance. Yeah, that seems pretty okay. And then that leads into all kinds of other amazing stuff. Bestial Rage +1, gain an additional stack of River of Blood. That's pretty fun. Unit capacity +1 for Gorgons. It's a shame we don't have the building that recruits them yet. And, you know, just a little bit of Gore Feast. Okay, yeah, there's some good stuff available here. Ooh. When we completely fill out the box, he gets infinite vigor. He never gets tired. That's actually very valuable, especially for a melee heavy character. And then our Bray Shaman, I think we're gonna keep leveling up his spells. I want this to be as cheap and available as possible. At some point, we probably want to put him on like a chariot or something. My concern with this is that it makes him larger and easier to hit with ranged weapons. Oh right, setting up the Herdstone eats all of my movement for the turn, so I can't go into hidden stance. Well, hopefully we won't end up paying a huge price for that. So this ought to be completely free. Casualties medium. Really? The good units are going to die. Well, they have some flying Hawk Riders who are going to be annoying to deal with. I'm debating whether I think we would be better off or worse off if I did this manually. I will say, my confidence in my own skills was shaken a little bit. They do have... Oh, they actually have some monstrous infantry, and I went and got rid of all of my spears. I'm just going to take the auto-resolve on this, I think. And then it turns out this place is not worth anything anyway, so let's just take that. That's enough to set off the ritual, but obviously we're gonna push on a little bit here. So let us continue to take buffs for the Centaurs and chariots. Okay, loose Razor Gore stuff is in Beast Lord Spite. Wait, where's just the... Okay, here we go. Razor Gore Herd, so just loose boars are buffed by this skill. They're only buffed by this skill when they're in a chariot unit, which I think we don't have the recruiting tech for even. So let's move forward, do ourselves a hidden encampment, and just replenish all those good units we lost. All right, so we're at 12. What do we really want to hit? What's an important threshold for this? Obviously, 12 is enough to get us to Giants and Chaos Spawn, which is cool. We'd have to get 50 to get to Minotaurs, which is possible. It kind of depends on how much the enemies want to meet us, because like winning big battles against armies does add devastation, right? So yeah, we'll just have to hope that the enemy is willing to meet us in the field. And how close are you to unlocking that thing? 2 more. Okay. I would really like the bonus line of sight. So this is win ambush battles. That's okay. Win 1 more siege battle to open up this line, and that another 3 turns off of enemy siege holdout time is going to be just bananas. And then that is when we do the other ritual. We'll get that. Okay, so we're very close to unlocking a lot of challenges. Now, unfortunately, it does seem like the Elven forces have, a lot of agents running around who may be able to do a lot of annoying map stuff to us. And it does not seem like our Minotaur is yet up to the task of dealing with that. I would like... He should be higher level by now. If we had not gotten profoundly unlucky on a lot of our rolls, he would be much higher level by now. Having to sit out 10 entire turns of being wounded has really cost a lot of development. So we're just going to have to play carefully. I'm going to try not to use him for anything that isn't at least 50%. Oh, hey, Morgur's leveled up enough to start getting his legendary quests. So, with the required items in his possession, Morgur can begin his ritual. But not here. Not amongst all this normality. Is that what's happening right here? He must return to his lair, where he can be alone amongst his twisted creations. Within this dank and unknowable cavern, Morgur's physical form is hewn from countless gifts and boons from the ruinous powers, coalesced together to create the Master of Skulls. Ah, see, I knew there was a reason I liked him. So Gisaru, unfortunately, is over here. That's there relative to our position. So that's going to be a problem. Oh, also, we are pushing our chapter objectives along. Next one is just win 10 battles. That's going to come on pretty quickly. I could have paid a little bit more attention to our mid objectives. Maybe delaying a battle a turn would have been worthwhile. So start a turn with at least 500 dread. We will definitely do that at the beginning of next turn. Have 10 unit cap upgrades. Get Torox to 15. Our Torox is like 13 right now, so that should happen. All right, kill a bunch of dudes. Get technologies. Okay, I think we're gonna get a lot of the sub objectives this time. So 20%. It doesn't say if it changes the chance for a plague to break out, but 20% movement penalty for enemy armies in the area is awfully nice. So the Bleakhold Fortress was a thing I was looking forward to running down there and burning. Is that? That's the Cult of Pleasure. That's different from... Okay, yeah, that's the other big Dark Elf faction. So that's a shame. I feel like I kind of got robbed there. I believe that means that Ice Rock Gorge is the last settlement belonging to this faction, right? Okay, yeah, let's just remove them from the game, shall we? Now, this is a little bit more dangerous, because obviously we're putting ourselves right up against the elves who we know have been drafting an army for a minute. You know what, before we do anything else? Minotaur. Go forth and tell me what's up here. Get me some vision. The elves are not home. Maybe they're down here? Because we know at this point they have an army. They have at least some portion of an army built up. I really wish I knew where it was. It makes me nervous not to. Alright, do you think you'd be able to get rid of the butterfly? Probably not. Not worth trying. What about one of these? Alright. I think I'm going to have him run down here. This unit, or this agent, is completely meaningless because it will cease to exist when we take out Rock Gorge, but it's also, I think... Well, you know what? No, never mind. I was going to say it's an action nearby that he's likely to succeed at, and we don't have any other of those that we really care about. But I guess assaulting the Witchwood's garrison over and over again is probably a good idea. We are going to need to weaken that a bit. Hopefully he will do more damage than they heal off in a single turn. Alright, he found himself a cultist to follow him around. And yeah, more damage on assault garrison. We need this to be so much damage that it doesn't just instantly heal off. Ah, there's the Sisters of Twilight.
Even Ariel could not.
Okay, so I don't want to charge over to Ice Rock Gorge right this second, probably. I want to approach in a little bit more careful way. I know, Beastmen, careful. That's exactly what you think of when you imagine the rampaging horde of Beastmen. It's just like they're very thoughtful. They do a lot of planning. But I want to make sure that I don't let myself get embarrassed by elves again. So what I'm going to do for right now... Yeah, I'm going to put both of them pretty close together here in ambush stance. But I'm positioning Torox such that his zone of control covers the entrance to the Witchwood in the hopes that they'll try to just run by. We'll get an ambush battle off against them, and this army, because Torox is inside of Morgur's reinforcement range, he'll be able to show up as reinforcements, and we will just absolutely crush them from the shadows, thus accomplishing like 6 of the goals that we need to get done all at once, because I do still need to win some ambush battles. What are you doing? Oh, he's coming over here to spoil my ambushes. Oh, he just walked into both of those. He walked in and revealed both of our hidden armies, like, completely trivially. That's a shame. He rolled very well in his awareness checks, I guess. And I think Nagaroth's turn is before the Herald's turn, so now we're visible for their turn. Yeah, that really sucks. We got some very, very bad luck there. Well, she's not going to wander into the trap now. Oh, actually, she just did, she did underway movement. She also has the underway. Well, if she hadn't known we were here, I wonder if she might have tried the walk instead. Because, you know, moving through the underway, it does leave you vulnerable in some ways. Okay, that works for me if you want to just munch those guys up. Wow, that was a weird retreat path. They walked all the way around the Herdstone. I wonder. No, I know. And trust me, I'm very upset about it. Can we reach them? We totally can. Are they close enough that... Yes. So you see the little yellow line here indicates that if we attacked them here, the garrison of the city would show up and help them. You know what, Morgur, why don't you go back and just eat this guy up? That should be easy enough. Let's take the... We probably don't need the replenishment. We're gonna heal almost all of that off anyway. Let's just take the Bestial Rage boost, because I would like to get up into the top tier. Finish this off. So, I do want to say, on the subject of his quest, note it says any character. We don't have to spare an army for this. We could just run a single hero off in that direction, and that may end up being the sort of the smart move. All right, let's go ahead and destroy Ice Rock Gorge. Unfortunately, if the sisters want to sit in the Witchwood with a full army, we're gonna find that very difficult to overcome. Oh yeah, we will definitely take that. Leveled up enough to get access to a Regiment of Renown of Centaurs, which we will certainly be giving to the other army. And so we need 2 points from the previous group to get this very, very powerful thing. But none of it doesn't lock. We will be able to get all 4 points. So what do we want most? I feel like we're not having a problem maintaining his army's Bestial Rage. Plus 10 for... This would just be for the Gorgon right now. And I guess the Cygor that the mage can summon. This gives him strength from flesh and replaces the Minotaur's Blood Greed with Gore Feast, which also gives regen. Yeah, you know what? It's going to be that. And then we actually have a considerable amount of favor here. I think it's time to make the Minotaur building. We got credit for that for the chapter. Yeah, okay. It's time to make the Minotaur building, and oh right, I can't. We need a little bit of additional. I hadn't upgraded this yet for a reason. Which is a little bit more devastation, a tiny bit more. We still have base unit caps for these things, but he wants to be running with the Chaos Spawn anyway, right? Doesn't his No, his trait does not specifically mention the mutants. Was it that he gets some mutant buffs? Ah, yes, here we go. He gets mutant buffs in his unique line. Is why I was thinking about that. Okay, yeah. So it does seem like that's probably a good thing to do with our upgrade. Is that everything in the blood region then? In my oh no, sorry, don't do that. I just want the blood ground highlighted. There we go. Yeah, so us not getting to wipe this out actually really sucks. We lost a lot of potential ruination there. I think we are going to try to get the Witchwood before we have the ritual go off. So I don't really have a great plan with you. I'm going to move you into... Here, let's get as far forward of an ambush position as we can. Why am I not allowed to... Oh, because the other beastmen can see me? How dare you? How dare you disable my hiding? What is wrong with you? This is not what solidarity looks like. And then while we're doing this, let's go ahead and drop a unit of Ungor Raiders for you. And then actually there's a Gore Herd with shields as well. I don't even know what this unit does. Ah, they have poison on their ranged attacks. That's significant. Do I want to drop another unit of raiders, maybe? Or maybe, like... I don't want to lose too many ranged units, but Ungor raiders are really bad. Yeah, give me that as well. Yeah, give me both of these, and then did I want anything else? No, we have the harpies, but who cares? Okay. So my hope here is that the sisters, not being able to see either of our armies, will think that the herdstone is unprotected and they will ride out to attack it. And I think if I want that to happen, I probably shouldn't attack them directly. I don't want them to feel unsafe. Hooray, we did it. All right, let us get some vision. Now, unfortunately, I do not know where we're going to get this other siege battle. Because we have to attack a settlement that has proper walls in order to get credit for a siege battle, and I don't know how far south we're going to have to go for that. It's also the case that if Sushku here gets into a fight with the sisters, well, apparently they had an army led by a massive tree man that they were bringing up into a sort of a reinforcing position that we are absolutely going to annihilate. This one should be pretty easy, but you know what? I haven't actually shown you an ambush battle. Here's what an ambush battle actually looks like. And yes, I'm kind of playing this one because I think it's easy enough that I won't be able to screw it up. Oh, interesting. This is not a normal ambush. I didn't even realize that this could happen. Usually, the way an ambush battle works is you catch an army marching in the field and like they are drawn out in a single file marching order, and you can start up very close to them and just attack them while they're not prepared. I am very surprised by this thing where they get a proper deployment zone. This is not how these have traditionally worked. Maybe they changed some things. All right, let us risk magic for more favorable wins, because 9 is a pretty bad starting value. All right, gambling never pays. I should have learned by now. It's fine, we have Arcane Conduit. So, pretty unusually, I think in this case, we actually have the advantage at range. They only have 2 units of archers. And technically, it is on us to break them, but the AI is not always so smart. I think there's some chance, at least, that we can just wait back here and have them come to us. Especially since it's going to look like we have very few units in total, because most of our stuff is stealthed. Let's start the Harpies off somewhere where they can maybe do a flank around. I'm going to have the Gorgon... I'm just going to, like, dot our visible units kind of around the landscape over here. Because I don't feel like I have a good idea what they're going to respond to. Also, I'm realizing I should pass these chariot units over to the other army, since it's getting chariot bonuses sort of for free alongside what it's already taking. So yeah, we'll just like dot our visible units around here and see what they do. Alright, so the Arcane Conduit spell just puts more magic into the reserve magic bar. And the way this fills over time is it drains magic out of the reserve bar. And the more magic there is in the reserve bar, the faster that process occurs. So, as long as we just mash this every 90 seconds, we will have a lot more fuel with which to cast spells. It looks like they are going to make me come to them. That's a shame. I thought they might be more foolish than that. So we get to charge through a little bit of arrow cover. They don't really have... Yeah, they don't really have spears to set against a charge. And they only have 2 units of archers. So honestly, this isn't going to be that bad. Alright, if they're going to make us do it, let's move up. Remember, we have to get pretty close with the normal beastmen units before they will become visible. So they are not going to be aware of this repositioning at all. The caster probably just moves up kind of center, and I think we're going to do the heavy charge over on this side where they have more units focused. Although I noticed they're bringing their giant tree man to this side, so let's keep the Gorgon over here. So yeah, the lord of this army is an Ent. Relatively powerful combatant, big tough monster, also pretty good spellcasters. Definitely a thing to be concerned about. Oh right, Cygors! Hold on, I'm going to summon a Cygor. That's how we're going to resolve this. I totally forgot about that. Here's what a Cygor is. I have my own great big terrifying giant. A Cyclops, as you might imagine from the name. And the thing that's cool about Cygors is they really have quite an arm on them. Okay. Let's see if they are content to allow me to just keep doing that. Actually, you know what? Work on the archers. Because like, we can wear them down in a very safe way here. Now, because our Cygor is a summoned unit, it will just degrade over time. Although it looks like it's not... It hasn't started bleeding health yet. Let's get that other Cygor up. Their accuracy is maybe not the total best. You work on that one. Obviously, with a siege unit like this, it is more beneficial to have it fire into sort of massed groups of units. And you can see the ammo bar underneath their morale, indicating that we don't get a lot of rocks. But I'm not worried about their melee troops at all. I am not even the tiniest bit concerned about that. I'm going to put them both into guard mode so that they will not try to move forward. Okay, here it comes. They've decided to cross, and unfortunately, to do so, they have decided the smart play is let's just group everything together while they throw rocks at us. Oh, I guess his summoning time ran out. My impression was that it was sort of a smoother drop-off than that. Apparently, it really happens all at once. Okay, so you keep that working. Over here, these characters are still hidden. The only thing that they know of over here is the Gorgon. They think they are moving toward just a Gorgon. Let's get my archers to break down their archers really fast. And I think I'm just going to have... where's my lord? I think I'm just going to have Torox and the Gorgon just charge right in. I'm not afraid of these guys. And we'll have the spearmen kind of fan out to the sides a little bit. I want to limit the amount that we use the normal spearmen because, you know, replenishment and stuff. But here, get a little closer. We'll worry about what we want to do with these in a moment. Actually, you know what? We could probably cast some Vile Tide as they're moving through this narrow area. So now that we have a couple of points in this spell, we have the ability to overcast it. If I click it again, it gains additional effect, but you can see it also gains a miscast chance. Because we took a skill to limit that, it's only 29%. when a spell miscasts, it still goes off, it still does the thing you intended it to do, but the caster suffers a sort of like magical feedback effect and takes a significant amount of damage. And you absolutely can kill a caster by miscasting too much. They just explode. So you have to be a little bit cautious of that. Unfortunately, Vile Tide is quite short-ranged, so we're gonna have to approach here. I'm gonna have the Minotaurs fall back for a second. Hold on, can I redirect that? Is there still time to redirect that? No, he's already casting. Because they sure do obviously react to it. All right, let's make sure we hit your explosion button. Seems like a fine time for the explosion button. And now that the enemy troops are engaged, let's go ahead and press them. Yeah, hit the Dryads. That should be fine. I'd really like for the Gorgon to focus on the Tree Man if we can make it happen. And then we're going to do kind of the same thing over here. You're going to press up that side. So my hope here is that we get them to focus on the Ungor as they approach and then hit him in the backside with the charge. And let's see how this works. Okay, it still did a lot of damage to that unit. Sorry, I pause a lot when I'm trying to micro manage movements. All right, so those units have committed to the idea enough. I want the Razor Gore chariots to charge out to the side a little bit more. Let's cast some spells. How about... Do I want to just nuke my own unit's armor and have them be way killier? Let's do 19 seconds until that. This is a very expensive this is a very expensive spell. Let's just do some devolves instead. So wow, when you overcast that, the the area of effect is really tremendous. Very cool stuff. The Cygor is still doing its thing, and I think I'm gonna change its target probably. Here, just throw rocks into sort of the middle of the enemies. All right, Torox, do your thing. Let's actually see the Gorgon in action a little bit here. I'm not sure if he actually did any damage with that strike. Now that my units are properly engaged, we should definitely hit plus 24 melee attack. Oh shoot, my Ungor Raiders are not in guard mode, so they are charging because their target is running away. That Tree Man's tough. You lot stay on those. I'll believe they're actually retreating when I see the skull. Oh, right, the Harpies. I forgot about my garbage Harpies. Garbage Harpies, go do this. Y'all come back here. One of the units of spears should keep chasing the archers. This is good time for the counter charge. So this is why I gotta pause a lot, because anytime there's more than one thing happening on the battle, it's just very easy for me to lose track. Let's try to get you to position in a little bit further, and this ought to be a pretty solid situation for spellcasting, because it kind of seems like the enemy has grouped up in a way that's going to be disadvantageous to them. So do I want to... Which force do I want to blow up more? Probably... You're about to receive a charge. My problem with blowing up this unit of Dryads is that they're very spread out. Let's just hit these ones. They have grouped up nicely for the effect. Also, gotta remember to fire that on cooldown. The Minotaurs have actually taken a surprising amount of a beating here. These Wildwood Rangers are doing a better job than I was hoping. It's alright, we'll have them disengage and then just charge somewhere else. I was kind of hoping we could use them as stand and fight heavy infantry, but it's not really working out that way. hit some flank charges here. All right, those archers are all done for. Somehow the tree man still lives. And he's still casting spells on us. And our Gorgon is just kind of standing around watching and not participating in the fight. That's probably got something to do with it. Okay. They're all broken. They're all broken. So yeah, that was not... I wanted to show y'all how an ambush works, and we did not get to see it. That was not an ambush battle. Yeah, the defender starts the battle surrounded by the attacker with no chance to deploy. That's extremely not what happened. Well, good news. The Gorgon has crossed over into the gold ranks. So we can get his gold rank upgrade. The Razor Gore Chariot's actually, or the Tusk Gore Chariot rather, is getting pretty close as well, which I'm surprised by. Because I feel like I have not been using it very much. So that army was in march mode when they approached us, right? We caught them on the march, so I think they will be fully destroyed by that loss. Ordinarily, when an army loses a field battle, some portion of it gets to retreat and potentially escape and try again later. But that's not true if they are inside of a settlement when they get attacked, if the settlement is lost. And it's not true if they were in march mode, and it's not true if they have already fallen back once that turn. You get a maximum of 1 fallback per round. So, overall the damage is not too bad. So you might notice that the damage on our Minotaurs looks very different here than it did in-game. The reason is that in the actual battle, each body, each figure, each of the 11 Minotaurs has some amount of health, right? We had 11 Minotaurs all standing, but all at pretty low health. On the battle map, every figure immediately gets reset to full, so we have 11 full health Minotaurs, which is 11 of 16. That's like a pretty high percentage of the overall HP of the unit. Let's take the... We're way maxed out on Bestial Rage. I'm gonna sacrifice some captives, I think. Because the healing option was not going to get us very much healing. We're gonna heal just fine without it. Although I suppose it is worth noting that joining the battle did take us out of encampment mode. And the Sisters of Twilight moved up in a way that I'm not sure I fully understand. They moved up as the... Maybe that was just the closest they could get. They couldn't get any... They ran out of range, but their plan is to attack Hag Hall. Because they did not actually reveal Morgur. Morgur's just sitting there invisible. This is a huge problem for them. They really goofed this up. All right, what do we want next? We definitely want one of these two skills. What is the Gorgon gonna get from its thing? Is it on here? Oh no, the Gorgon was on the Minotaur skill, so never mind. He's just got all those bonuses now. Okay, well then it's really not worth thinking about spending a point anywhere else. So I still don't think that that's right. Titans of the Deep Forest is fine. I think I'm going to take Juggernaut. 10% weapon strength on a unit that has 500 weapon strength to begin with is pretty significant. Even more charge bonus. He's a very impressive charger. And then, yeah, the Sisters, I guess we just kill them. Right, like pretty easily, I think, because they're within range of Hag Hall's garrison as well. Yeah, they're gonna get massively overwhelmed here. Let's take the final upgrade on the Mantle of Gorok. So the first point gives you the ability to cast the spell. The second point lowers the cooldown by 30% and gives you the ability to overcast. And then the third point lowers the cooldown further, lowers the miscast chance, and lowers the mana cost, the Winds of Magic cost. Let us definitely, absolutely crush them. No, wait, sorry. I still had the Bray Shaman selected. Yeah, do not jump out of the army and attempt to mess with the Sisters yourself. Okay, so we're going to win a thorough, decisive victory. I'm just going to go ahead and take it. We did get a banner here. The Gift of Chaos. We should definitely put the Gift of Chaos on one of the units of archers. Provided that works the way that I want it to. Do you get... It doesn't actually show it. I don't know if it applies to their missiles or if just to their melee attacks. Well, whatever. I'm gonna leave it like that. So it looks like we lose. We are probably going to lose nothing on the auto resolve here. Yep, not even from the settlement garrison. They positioned themselves profoundly poorly, in large part because they did not know that we had a second army in stealth. Yo, that's a lot of favor. -8 is a bunch, but also we do need a lot of favor. Alright, glory to the dark gods. The heads of those who dared lead forces against you now sit atop spikes, etc. You know how we do. So, while we're over here... defeating the Sisters of Twilight has given a massive replenishment rate just to Torox, specifically to Torox, and has also increased his missile strength by 10%. Well... listen, they can't all be winners. Alright, lots of magical loot was distributed. Turns out the elves have a lot of magic stuff. Who would have thought? Hell yeah, demonic vigor. Okay, so... Let's step forward here, but, you know... I do want to encamp. I could use the healing. And then we also definitely want to swap units with you. I didn't realize... that I should be the one to have these chariots. So let's swap the chariots for just like the normal Razor Gores, I think. And then sadly that has put you on 0 movement. I cannot encampment mode you. Would I be able to just grab the Centaurs if I did drop a unit here? Let's say I got rid of... It's probably like a unit of Chaos Warhounds. Okay, yeah, I can just go ahead and recruit them anyway because they are a regiment of renown and they have no recruit time. Also, you got another skill point. We are gonna max out all of your magic stuff really soon here. So we do have access to the better chariot now. On the back of a Razor Gore chariot, he becomes a competent like melee unit as well, which is maybe worth pursuing. I'm very nervous about converting a caster into a large unit against enemies who have a lot of good ranged weapons, though, because it just makes them so much easier to shoot. Let's take the other point of devolve. Let's lower the cooldown and cost of devolve, because it does seem very powerful for the amount of area that it covers, and especially for how cheap it is. Who else has... Oh, the Gorbel. The Gorbel has unassigned skill points. Let's make you good at assaulting units as well. Yeah. And then you should definitely just keep assaulting this garrison. Okay, and he's become so good at assaulting the garrison. He's doing even more damage than before. Unfortunately, we can't really tell how much health they have in here, but... whatever. We'll run up on them next turn. It kind of doesn't matter how much it is. We just have to hit them, right? So we got our ambush battle. Wait, we needed a bunch more ambush battles, right? What was the challenge that we unlocked? I don't know. We'll look in a second here. All right. So yeah, they're going to start recruiting a new army immediately. But an army that is in a settlement that is encircled or under siege cannot recruit units. So we're just going to press right up against the Witchwood there, lock up their ability to recruit, and then we'll figure out what to do about it afterward. It may well be the case that we just attack immediately. We unlocked this. So passive ability, Primal Fury upgraded. I guess on anybody who had the Primal Fury ability before. It doesn't actually say what units this applies to, but it's the only challenge we can be working on, so. Alright, we should have him do his thing one more time before we hit the walls. Okay, so he's gained access to some other stuff up here, so we can give him the strength of the land, or the Unrelenting War Herd, which are buffs for allies in combat, or this is map action stuff, I assume. Yeah, Plus 5% all success chance seems pretty solid. And this causes terror for all Minotaur units in the hero's army. That's kind of fun. We're going to take the best of the beast here, obviously. Well, am I? Because this is an additional 7% chance. It's only on the one thing, but it is the most important thing. No, let's take this. Action cost down is not nothing as well. Since we have no income, you know, anything that costs favor is actually kind of a hardship. Yeah, no, I know what I'm doing. He does not want to siege the thing. Okay, go into bonus movement range mode. There we go. Apparently I had just barely not enough range. Alright, so we will encircle them, and then, you know, bring in our other army. Obviously, I have no interest in fighting this remotely fairly. So we are not, yeah, we're not making it to 50. There we go, a decisive victory. You know, a pretty straightforward one. That said, we could just hit the auto-resolve button. Let's do this one manually, though. This is a big campaign objective, and it does, I believe, have a unique battle map. And yeah, this is worth spending some actual real-world human minutes on. So I do not know a ton about the lore of like what the Witchwood is. Obviously, it's a big magic forest. If you're not familiar with the Warhammer fantasy setting, all of the wood elves live in these big magic forests, but they're not like the fun kind of enchanted forest. The forest is magical and extremely hostile to pretty much all beings, including, in many cases, the elves themselves. And the forest has its own race of like forest spirits that live within it that are at sort of an uneasy tension with the elves at all times. So we have our initial army here. Our reinforcement army will show up from that side of the battlefield. I'm going to gamble because you know what? We can't do much worse than 6. Even a failure here will have almost no effect. That said, gambling never pays. Yeah, okay, we lost one wind of magic. So yeah, here's your Witchwood. It's all very magical and impressive. And I will say that it pretty clearly advantages them. Like, they have the high ground. They're going to be able to shoot over all this water and everything. But, as ever, we have the advantage of being hard to see. So let's just create some groups here. The right assault group will be on this. I should definitely make sure I have my ranged units on 1 because since I have gotten used to do that, I always just hit 1 whenever I want to change where the arrows are going. And that'll be the case whether or not doing that will actually have any effect. The harpies can, I suppose, just sort of start... I hate to do this again because there is some chance I'm just going to forget about them, but like, what else is there to do with them? Alright, and remember, we can summon a Cygor. We can summon a pair of Cygors very easily at the beginning of the battle here. So let's take a moment to assess the enemy position. Wow. Okay, they got some feelings about my harpies. That's these Hawk Rider units. They have a special volley ability that they can fire off a couple times per battle. That's going to kill those harpies, like probably almost all of them. It does look like... So they got some Glade Riders here. Ranged units on the back of big horses. They can fire while moving, so that's going to be a little bit annoying to deal with. The good news is, as large units, they're very easy to hit. So our own archers will have some effect. They got their own tree man, of course. Aside from that, they got some tree kin over here, some slightly larger and more dangerous melee units. Not very good at killing, but extremely good at surviving. What's down here? Just some more tree kin. And then elves, you know, elves with swords or whatever. I'll give them this. They're big, they're large swords. I have been more concerned. Something tells me we're going to be fine. Let's make a Cygor. Oh, right, sorry, I have to wait a second before we can make a Cygor. Run away! These are homing projectiles. I don't think moving is going to do much. All right, so our reinforcements are moving in quickly. We should probably move up the rest of the army. Because, yeah, they're advancing on us. So here's the thing I don't like about multi-army battles. The reinforcements just kind of like funnel in to the backfield and then just sit there. There's no way to set like a rally point for them. You just have to grab them as they come in and direct them to places. I'm thinking that you're too far up. Fall back a little bit. We'll integrate you with the new people coming up. Let's get our fast-moving units up on this side as well, I think. Some of them, anyway. Yeah, I don't really have a good plan here. I think plan part 1 involves get a Cygor out. Now, it is probably not worth having a Cygor attempt to throw rocks at ranged units that are on horseback. My suspicion is they will just move, because they are going to be fast enough. Do I think they're going to try a charge? Because we could just turn and fire. They've exposed their Hawk Riders to arrow fire. Hawk Riders are remarkably fragile. And I don't anticipate a melee charge from their cavalry. They could do it. They do have swords, but it's so much not what that unit is built for. I think what we are going to do is we're going to run up real fast. My guess here is they'll just turn around and run back up the hill. And hopefully they will do so in a way that allows me to just devour their Hawk Riders. And I think that on this side we want to move up. Have the Bray Shaman move more this way so that he can cast spells. And do we want to try to close up the distance on this side? I don't really want to allow them the flanking angle, but they're not trying, which makes me reluctant to really do anything. God, it is going to take so long for our reinforcements to get into position. Okay, yeah, they're not attempting the charge. And here we go. As soon as they see us, they start running. All of you in guard mode. Nobody chase anybody. You know, they're kind of retreating. They're not really. I think they may have. Made the decision to actually move back too late. All right, I'm just gonna push them. We'll have plenty of time to replenish units after this fight. It's one of my Ungor Raider units already broken. What a bunch of babies. We're definitely going to want to cast a big evolve up the hill, so I'm going to have our Bray Shaman move up. The Minotaurs will provide plenty of cover. I'm not worried about his health. So you should be pretty good. These do count as large, these monstrous infantry here, so the Gorgons should do a ton of damage. I'm just going to have the Brass Bull charge all the way in. You two try to do that, and you three just run up the hill. Let's flank them. Let's give them what for, and let's redirect the rocks as center of the enemy formation as we can. There's a couple of units back here that I think did not get selected. They were probably not in the battlefield yet when we gave the last move order, but basically everybody needs to move up a lot. Here's my brilliant plan. Hey, this army, get up the hill. We'll figure out what to do with you after you are up the hill. And the Harpies, I was going to use them to try to menace some of these archers, but the way the enemy has fallen back like this, I think probably I'm going to have them like back off and go around. We'll see if that turns out to be any good. All right, so they're casting their own wood explosion spells on us here. The Gorgon's going to show those guys who's boss. And I am absolutely just going to charge. Oh, they have a hero. Yeah, you better run. I'm going to try to get into the middle of stuff here and then start casting my buffs. Let's go for... Oh, probably let's go for the other Cygor first, right? Then the devolve can come later. All right, so y'all are running up the hill. Just have the Harpies go straight at him at this point. So the Ungor are gonna get murked up real bad, and that's fine. That's their role. That is what they are for. They're gonna eat a bunch of enemy fire, which is, I think, the best we can hope for from them. Okay, everybody's got orders. So buffs for my units. Alright, crushing up these archers real good, although obviously there are lots of other archers who are still problems. I know you won't actually catch them, but keep them running. Actually, I'm gonna send Torox back in here. I was saying that thing about how it's probably not worth throwing rocks at the horses, but like, maybe I do throw rocks at the horses just to keep them moving. Nah, we'll throw out the archers on foot. Okay, so that unit of trees is broken and running. I mean, do we want to have the Gorgon just chase horses around? There's no way he's fast enough to catch them, right? He has 68 speed, actually. They have 94. Okay, never mind. Elf horse is fast. They have a tree man, right? The Gorgon should be fighting the tree man. He is basically a walking sawmill. So yeah, you push up to that flank. You just threaten archers, keep them running. Where are my normal minotaurs in all this nonsense? Gosh, I have so much stuff. There we go. Normal minotaurs with shields. Because they are shielded, they are pretty good chasers, but they are much, much, much slower than those horses. And I'm worried if I send them out there to deal with the horses, they're going to get picked apart. So I think what I'm going to have them do for right now is just... like here, menace this unit. The Waystalker will back up as they approach, and then they'll turn around and do a recharge into that big ball of enemy units there. Actually, the Waystalker let them make contact, which I do not think is a good move for its long-term health. Stay on him. That was a pretty solid rock throw. Yeah, those Ungors are doing what they do. So these are great weapon cavalry. They should probably be charging. Doing my best to keep my arrows on the hawks, because we have a very small number of units that can even attack these hawks. Fortunately, the Centaurs with the throwing axes absolutely can attack the hawks, and they're probably not fast enough to keep up. Actually, no, they are 97 speed. They are faster than hawk riders. So there's not going to be any screwing around at maximum range on this one. All right, so over here, there's still some actual fighting going on. It would be really great if we could have one of these units sort of disengage and do that. There's no reason we all got to be fighting from the same side there. All right, let's divide up. I'm sacrificing all of these Ungor units to keep the ranged units from participating in the real battle. Hopefully they don't mind too much. Yeah, you know what? I guess stay on the Waystalker. You're doing a fine job. You are getting distracted, I think. The tree man's over here. Having a really hard time selecting my lord. Probably ought to fire that off. Let us also explode. What if also I blew up? Oh, right. They have a melee tree man and a caster tree man. A unit of chaos spawn that I'm going to send over here at these tree men. I'm not even 100% sure why we have chaos spawn. But whatever, it's fine. Actually, you know what? Devolve does not look necessary. We have basically completely won the melee combat portion of the night. All right, let's get people merged up because the time has come to focus on killing their archers. So we are going to need our own archers for this task. Where's the Gorgon? Gorgon, could you maybe help out a little bit with this stuff? Oh, they had two caster tree men and a combat tree man, and yeah, okay. You know, it's a big magic forest. It makes sense. So yeah, you lot just kind of fan out over here. I don't have a real play for you just yet. Morgur, do you create chaos spawn somehow? That must be what's happening. Okay. He has a Lord ability. Duration 10 seconds. So this says it summons a unit of chaos spawn, but it's also like a single cast thing. But he doesn't actually have like a button for it. I mean, it must be something he does automatically. He made that unit of chaos spawn. Well, okay. Chaos spawn are real like glass cannon units. They have very little in the way of survivability, but they just do tons and tons of damage. Hey, look, that flanking maneuver actually kind of worked, except then we got counterflanked. Okay, yeah, turn around and fight them. This is still under control. You lot, I think, are doing exactly what you ought to be doing. And we basically need everything that is fast to get up here. All right, the Gorgon is fighting that tree man, and he is embarrassing it terribly. Harpies, get out of there. Go pick on this Waystalker. All right, a lot of their stuff is breaking. So it's very frequently the case that you'll see large parts of the battlefield break all at once, or all together, like regions of the battlefield. And that's because units losing morale and breaking and fleeing has a negative morale effect on other nearby friendly units. I had a really hard time selecting my lord. Okay. Alright, everything that is fast, get in here. Go kill those guys. Specifically those guys. A lot of our other units are just not going to be useful at this point in the battle, unfortunately. You get down there and help with that. Okay, we can run a bunch of these slower units up and just create a blockade. Oh, as soon as my fast stuff got close enough to actually hit a horse, all the horses just surrendered. Well, unfortunately, surrendering to the beastmen does not mean you do not get eaten. In fact, it definitely means the opposite of that. So Torox's forces took a little bit of a beating there. But this is all recoverable. We lost a couple units of zero XP Ungor, who we will replace with just better unit types anyway. So a lot of the cost of that battle was sort of imaginary. And our archers have actually managed to make it to a reasonable level, despite the fact that they are super bad at their job, and as such do not usually get a lot of kills. I'm sure there is some experience that is earned from just being in battle. Although I guess were that the case, it probably some of these Ungor would be at least a little higher. But hey, that's a couple of major objectives, right? We just took out another hostile player. We got one of the settlements we need to win the game, and got ourselves a pretty okay Ritual of Ruination. Yo! Loot and also raise. And for some reason, I have been hurled out of... Okay, weird. So, we become an unstoppable force. For getting to 8 momentum, we gained a trait that gives +1 momentum when starting new rampages. That's a cool one. Got another follower who we don't even have a place for. Let us go ahead and level up here. So I think I probably want to finish out this box. At the very least, let's take this now. This can wait until we get the building that lets us build more Gorgons. Oh, those 2 units of Ungor didn't even actually die. So we have a ton of resources to work with now. I think there's no reason not to perform the ritual, right? We've completely emptied the blood ground. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and hit the button. The gods are pleased. We're out here accomplishing tasks. Sadly, we did not get quite enough marks of ruination to be able to pull in more minotaurs, but we're getting close. The next herdstone will definitely do it. Yeah, I'm not going to take a mount until we finish our spells. So what, this is just a different explosion. This one is also, this one at least does a bunch of it lowers the enemy's speed even if the damage isn't meaningful. And honestly, in that last battle we could have used it. So let's have you just take a moment here and replenish. We don't have anything cool. Oh no, sorry, I do have +1 Minotaur available. So let's merge up all of these. Get ourselves an extra unit of Minotaurs, because of course I do. Yeah, we have Minotaur shield, but no basic Minotaur unit. And then we don't have any relevant regiments of renown. This is a point where we could bring on the ogres. Like the upkeep cost is not too bad, but there's no reason for us to pay it until we actually have to pay it, right? Until they will actually provide some benefit to us. Can you also... No, you do not have the movement left. Alright, so we have some horde upgrades available, if you can believe it, at 30k. What do we want? I think I do want to upgrade to level 4 because I want access to the upgraded Minotaur types. Yeah, let's take the encampment up to the next level. And then we should probably upgrade some of this stuff too. We could be... I don't even know what a Wargur is. It's another type of hero with assassination, which is cool. Yeah, let's upgrade some of the buildings in this war herd. You can go through a lot of favor very quickly in this faction. So I know we still can't do our Minotaurs here, but do we want to... are there other upgrades I would like to buy? What did we need for our chapter objectives, and how much money was it? Okay, we need to win one more battle, which obviously we will before the chapter is over. So just purchase 10 upgrades from the unit cap tab. I mean, gore are fine, I guess. We could do some of that. I honestly just don't... It was only like 1,000 favor, right? I just don't know that I want to bother. So where do we get the next army capacity? Oh, actually, we hit it. We do have the ability to get another army. I mean, we could just do that, right? We could just with our 1,300 dread just bring on another one of the legendary lords. We could increase our capacity for Bray shamans so that we have a shaman in the other army. That's probably also worth doing. But I don't... Neither stack has the ability to even hire a Bray shaman. We don't have the building for it yet. Or we could just go for some big general upgrades. I mean, obviously, like, increasing the base value of an army when we're here thinking about founding a new army is pretty solid. But I kind of think I want to get another big lord. Let's just do this. Let's get Malagor. We will start a new stack. Because we did get that army capacity. Wait, did we not? Did we not step up to +2? Yeah, it says army capacity +2 there, between 60 and 99, which we absolutely are. Maybe it doesn't take effect until the beginning of the next turn? Oh! No, okay, he existed already. We have taken control of his existing IC. Well, that's not what I was expecting. This army has nothing going for it. How close are we to... We're not that far away from the place for that legendary, or for the legendary quest from Morgur. I think what I'm going to do is actually disband this army entirely, because it's just like a very low-level lord with a bunch of garbage troops. That Bray Shaman's okay. He made it to 8. The AI does not always spend their skill points in the the most reasonable ways. What is your deal? You just have a lot of points of Amber Spear and also spread corruption for some reason. And yeah, this war herd has no buildings. All right, yeah, I am going to disband this whole thing. I think I'm just gonna get rid of, yeah, you and you. But I'm gonna run this character over to the region for Morgur's quest, because he's not actually that far away. We can get there in a few turns and start that quest moving along, and then we will build up a third army. You know, we could just build our own third army down here. We do have a... They did create a herdstone for us. Which thing does it have? The campaign movement penalty? And we could just start doing work down here. Malagor himself is level 11 already, which is maybe not a great sign, because I'm sure his stat points are going to be all screwed up. Where are the places where I need to that I need to destroy? So we got the Witchwood. It's not checked off yet. I'm assuming again at the beginning of next turn probably. So most of this stuff is on the west side of the map, except for Altdorf, which is way up there. I think I would rather consolidate. Let's keep all of the herds more or less together. They don't need to be as tight as they are right now, but like, let's be in the area where we can back each other up. So let us recruit the Crow Father. What's your deal, Crow Father? You have a single point of Blessed by Evil, which seems fine, I guess. Gargantuan Hooves, which is always right. Do you already have your legendary? Okay, cool. Cool, great news. He has Wild Heart. Okay, so every time he casts a spell, we get more wins. Every time he casts a spell, we get plus 10% speed on the whole army. So he's a very skilled caster. He has the passives from a bunch of different schools. That's neat. We're gonna have to actually get his good spells, and then he has access to Greater Arcane Conduit. He is really, really, really good at casting spells. But he's taken all these passives, and he just has the one basic spell available, and it's fine. Listen, we can work with this. This is okay. Do I have any spare stuff that we can hand out to him? Not really. We're not finding a lot of weapons. We do have a Herdstone Keeper. Yeah, we have some followers who are not assigned. And then a couple of banners he can hand out. He's got himself a Channeling Staff, which lowers his ability recharge. Okay. Causes fear for harpies. It's just not... That's not a real thing. It's not useful at all. Okay, and he actually has a couple of buildings built up. So he's got a Shaman's Flame Pit. He has 21 population surplus for some reason. Here, get inside the Hag Hall so that we can build. Yeah, you should definitely spend some of that population, my dude. And then I don't know that there's anything else that I actually want to... Yeah, I don't want to do anything else until we get his level up. I guess having access to non-Ungor units is always a good idea. But then again, these things have unit caps, right? Yeah, let's not worry about it. All right, good news is we got lots and lots and lots of local summoning ability. So I guess here, take some Chaos Warhounds and then some just absolute garbage, and we'll turn your army into something real later. We'll give him the other unit of harpies. pass them over from Torox, because they actually have some XP somehow. Okay. I do not have a good idea of where our next move is going to be. Probably, we need to send at least one army down here to the Plain of Dogs, because I want to finish the Heralds of Ariel off. But it looks like a lot of this area is just getting kind of burned out without my help. There's Dark Elves way further south than I would normally expect. So the city of Hexawatl, which we do have to destroy, I believe is right here, nestled in these mountains. Maybe it's Pahuax. Okay, Hexawatl's up here. You know what? I think it's right there. So I guess let's just do that. Let's head in that general direction. We'll figure out what we want to do about Dark Elf Town and our legendary quests and stuff next time. Let's just let's pick up the video at the beginning of this this coming turn. So we have a little bit of momentum to work with, but unfortunately, I don't see how we're going to get into contact with anybody to fight them. The Rats of Clan Moors want to make a non-aggression pact. I guess so? We have a lot of common enemies, but I don't know. He should be like across the world. I don't know. I don't even know how he knows me. I'm fine. I have no idea how that diplomatic contact was even made. It's like a bottle washed up on shore with a message in it that says, "We rats heart you. Do you heart us?" And the little check boxes for yes and no. And obviously Torox ate the message and the bottle, but, you know, rats know what that means. Among rats, that is understood to be a yes. And the Dark Moon has hit. So I think we probably just want to take the campaign movement range, right? Dread cost down for increasing the capacity of chariots and manticores and stuff. I really, really don't want to go deep on the Harpies, even though we now have an army that gets extra value out of Harpies, because they're still really terrible. I think we are going to take no matter how far. So for 3 turns, very boosted campaign movement. And we're just going to try to get to our next target before the momentum wears off, because we are right on the cusp of hitting another rampage. Do I want it to be Torox who hits the Plain of Dogs then, maybe? Because that's like the next battle that'll happen, and then we just try to push south past the other Dark Elves, or we could eat them. You know, I've been talking like we'll just move right past them because they're not necessarily a threat to us, but eating people is good, just sort of in a broad general sense. So yeah, maybe that is in fact what we will do. That's going to be it for us for today, though. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, tomorrow, I think we are, in fact, going to backstab and devour some Dark Elves, because backstabbing and devouring is kind of all our mechanics let us do. And we'll see you then.